So Kathleen, I am super excited about this one because we worked tirelessly on this plan. And I know when you first started, you weren't sure if you'd be able to create a plan that had time just for yourself. So I'm excited for you to share this with everyone. Can we just back it up a little bit? And can you tell everyone about who you are, about your family, and about, just that sort of thing? Just tell us who you are.
I have two boys. They're both 10 at the moment. They're less than a year apart. So one's going to be 11 soon, but the other one turned 10 in July. And I'm married, and we were married a long time, and we had quite a ride. But we have one boy that we adopted, and when I was just very newly pregnant with my other child. So that's how they ended up so close together. But they couldn't be more different. My boy that I adopted, he's like computer nerd, he's like quiet, and the other one is like really athletic and like lots of big emotions, and so it's a lot of personalities going on there.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some diagnoses there, right? For one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. One
Okay.
was adopted, the one that we adopted, he was diagnosed with ADHD, sensory processing issues. He had lots of difficulties at school. And the other, my younger son, he doesn't have any diagnoses, but we have more struggles with him at home. He's very physical with his emotions, and when he's angry, it can get dangerous, and so he was actually the one that brought me to CTC because I was struggling at home, and I felt like I couldn't keep my other son safe, and I didn't really know how to handle that.
Yeah. So talk to me. We're going to talk less about the kids with you. We're going to talk more about you. And
Okay.
so can you talk a little bit about, before we started working on your energy plan, can you talk to me about where you were at, how you were feeling?
Well, I would get up in the morning and I would be like, I just can't, and I would get the kids all out, and then I would be like, well, that's nice. And I sit down for a few minutes, and then it'd be 1 o'clock. And I'm like, whoa, where'd my day go? I need to do everything in the 2 hours before I have to pick up my kids, and I'm like, I don't understand. Where's my time? I don't even know what I was doing, and I felt like I was doing something, but nothing was happening. And I just
How
couldn't.
many of you guys feel like that in the comments? Can you just let us know? Because I think this doesn't get talked a lot about. I think a lot of times parenting programs and memberships, we talk a lot about the kids and about the relationship with the kids, but we don't really talk about the parent themselves and how to help them be able to manage their time and their priorities and their energy, right? And so how was your energy too? Let's talk about that, because I remember that being a big deal.
Well, yeah, that was like, I was constantly exhausted, and like, that's why I would be like, I'd get home from getting the kids to school and I'd sit down because I'm too tired I need to like regroup. And then it didn't feel any better. And then I would look up and it'd be 1 o'clock and I had nothing done, and I still feel terrible. And it was just constant.
Yeah. Yeah. And how is that rippling into your family? Let's talk about your family just for a minute. So your exhaustion, your feelings of not getting anything done, your feelings of dread in the morning, how did that then ripple into your relationships, not just with your kids, but also with your husband?
Well, I didn't have like the capacity to care for him at all, really, and so I pretty much ignored him, and just got by every day.
Okay. Yeah. So that is no fun. That doesn't feel good, right? So can you talk us through, and it's just so when we go through this, before anyone gets confused, she's going to talk about something that's called a SPARC plan, SPARC. And it's it's still based in UQ. It's just kind of jumbled up. so that you can remember it, SPARC. So I've got it on my paper as UQ. She's going to go through it as Spark, and I'm going to move it around for her as she goes. So I don't want anyone to get too confused. So let's talk about, Kathleen, what did your plan look like to get more energy? What was the first thing that you did?
Okay, so the first thing I would do in the morning, I would take a minute. I would sit down and just kind of just breathe, and just like be like, it's okay. I'm good. We're gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. And just breathe for a couple minutes, and like I can take a second and it's gonna be all right, So that would be my first step.
And I remember you actually built this plan one step, 1 week at a time. So like the first week, this is all you did was add in this little shift, this little small break, 5 minutes or a few minutes. You even set a timer next to where you would feed the cat. And you just did that each day for a week until this became a habit. Do I remember that correctly?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the S. This is the S part of Spark is a shift. And so I have this very demanding cat, and I would have to feed her first in the morning, but then I could sit down for the few minutes, and because otherwise she would wake up the entire house, So this was before everybody's awake. I feed the cat, and then I take a few minutes and do the shift for my day. Yeah. And then for
Wonderful.
morning. Yeah.
And then what was the next thing that you would do? And those of you asking what does Spark stand for, we will go over that at the end of all of this. I don't want you to get too caught up in that because I'm going to be showing you it on my doodle. And if we can bring my doodle up, that'd be great. So what was the second part of your plan?
So then I would make a list of what I needed to do that day. And I'd like prioritize from that list. I would prioritize what, like maybe the big three that I absolutely had to get done that day. And so that gave me a focus for the day, and that would help me stay on track.
Awesome. So first you would do this shift where you just took a moment for yourself, and then you would take like all the things in your head and you would find what are the 3 most important things to do for the day. So you would prioritize.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm going to jumble yours up just a little bit to stay with the UQ. Can you talk to us about the connection part? What did you do to connect?
Okay. The thing that I started with for connection was I started with connection with my husband, and you suggested this to me, and it was very powerful. We did a 2-minute hug. He would stick his coffee mug in the microwave for 2 minutes and we would hug. And it was really amazing, and it helped us co-regulate, and you wouldn't think that it could do that much. It was just like, but it made a huge
It's pretty
difference.
Powerful, right?
Yeah, it really is.
Pretty powerful. The 2-minute hug is pretty powerful.
Right. I did try to do it with my kids. They're more like 30-second huggers. So,
Hey, we'll take it, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I love that so much. So let's move on to the understanding piece, because I think this was one that really gave you some of that energy back. So talk to me about the understanding piece, which would be probably your recharge.
Okay. So yeah, for recharge, I must have a shower every morning. Otherwise, I just cannot do it. I don't drink coffee. I need something that like hits the on button, and that's the shower. I cannot do it without the shower. So that's what I do. I take a shower every day in the morning.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
Starts me out. So
fantastic. And then you would even recharge in the afternoon because you were having like a lull. Is that correct?
Okay. Right. Yes. I would listen to an audiobook on the way to pick up the kids. And that was like another little something that made me happy and would get me going for the afternoon, for like the second half of the day,
Yeah, just like a little boost in the afternoon before you kept going. I love that so much. All right, so let's move into the empowerment part, which this whole plan is an empowerment plan. It's all about creating daily habits that give you your time and energy back so that you have enough to give to your kids. But what was the empowerment piece for you which is your activate.
So I walk the dog. That's another thing. He makes him happy, makes me happy. That's one of the main reasons I got the dog is that
Mhm.
I wanted to go for a walk and I needed a paddle, you know? So,
Mhm.
so yeah, we go take a walk and it's out in the park and we have a nice park where I get out in nature, get some, you know, get some fresh air, get some movement to get some, and that helps bring energy back to me too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I love that so much. So just to review, if you look at this from a UQ standpoint, she'd shift her mindset. We call this like getting your head clear, both internally and externally. So that is internally with that shift, that's that quiet moment. And then the prioritization is the outward, the external, getting your head clear. Then connect. She'd do that 2-minute hug with her husband. Understanding what boosts her, what drains her. And so she realized that she needed a boost, not just in the morning, but also in the afternoon. So it's really about understanding your own needs and then being able to advocate for them and do them. And then finally for empower, that's activating your body and taking care of your own body. And so she did that by walking the dog and then doing another dog walk before pickup, which I love so much. And like I said, we like to reorder these into spark, shift, prioritize, activate, recharge, connect, because I believe it's like your spark plug. It's like giving you your energy back as a parent. So talk to me about the ripple effects. What happened once you got this in check? Like once you added this, what was the ripple effect in your family, with yourself, with your husband, and even outside, like projects maybe you were able to do that you didn't think you could?
we did some pretty major things in the house. Like we got rid of an enormous climbing thing from that we had for the boys when they were like 2 and they're 10 now, you know, so it'd been around a while. So we took that and gave it to my nephew, and he has a young boy now. And
Hmm.
we also got rid of like a massive amount of cardboard in our basement because I've never met a cardboard box that I didn't like. So I was able to let some of those go, you know.
Yeah.
So and it's just like I think one of the biggest things with my husband, I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, it's like you wouldn't think that that could change everything, and it changed everything, you know. And also I feel like I've been able to communicate more with my kids too, because it's just physically possible for me, you know. So
Yeah. And you said you were exhausted. You said you felt like your entire day would go by and you wouldn't get anything done. You said
mhm.
that you didn't even want to hang out with your kids because you were so tired. So how has that changed?
Yeah, I'm more present for them. I can do stuff with them. And I enjoy being with them, you know, and so
Yeah,
it's been really nice. It's made a
I
huge
love that.
difference.
I love that. Is there anything that maybe I didn't ask you about that you'd love to say from your heart? You know, maybe possibly there may be, even if you could speak a little to, so many people want to skip this plan and they want to go straight from ride the storm to in the moment or ahead of the moment. Can you talk a little bit about that? And then if there's anything else that you'd like to share?
Okay, I did skip this plan and I couldn't get any further without it. So don't
Mm,
skip it, you know. So it makes a big difference. So yeah.
okay. Yeah. So originally you had skipped the plan and
Yeah,
just moved on.
because I'm like, okay, yes, but that's just me. I can handle it, you know? So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, which is kind of silly because when I first saw the first time I saw anything from CTC, what struck me was that it was something, because it was like, oh, I see now that it's something that like, it's something for me, because if I can't control me, then, you know, if I can't regulate myself, I'm not going to be able to help my kids. And still, somehow, I was able to tell myself that even though I need something for me, that I don't need to do this because I can handle it and can just move on without settling me, you know? So
Hmm.
clearly that was not quite the way to go.
Well, what happened when you skipped it? Like, how did you know that you needed to go back and do this?
Just like, I just I couldn't really move forward. I couldn't shift my thoughts about myself, and I couldn't shift my thoughts about my kids. And, and when something happened, it would be catastrophic, like I'd
Mm.
catastrophize it. And it's just like, so,
And
it's,
you ended up, like, once you realized you needed this, I mean, you spent a good 90 days working on this plan. So for anyone hearing this thinking you just sat down and wrote this plan out, I mean, you and I worked through this week after week for 12 weeks. And can you talk a little bit about that, about having this like 90-day goal and working through it? Did that make a difference? Or like, what if you had just tried to make the plan and go at it?
I, I'm not sure that I think I really needed some help to get
Mm.
there. I think the, like with CTC, you have like the whole team and all the people and the Facebook group and all that. And I haven't done a good job with participating in that. And I think that that's part of what
Yeah.
made me stuck. But like working with you is like what I needed to help me step, so
Well, and having just that weekly plan and
sure, yeah.
creating that like 90-day plan and working through it 1 week at a time,
Mhm.
building it up slowly, I think made a huge difference for you, right? And being able
Yeah,
to tweak it. Because there were definitely weeks where it was like, well, what happened, right? On both of our ends.
yeah.
So I think having that accountability was super powerful as well.
Mhm.
So is there anything final that you would like to say from your heart before we say goodbye to you? You've done an amazing job. Thank you for being so vulnerable and open, sharing about your story. This is a beautiful plan. Is there anything you want to say to anyone that's watching here that might be new to all this?
Just, take care of yourself. You can do it, and lean into the group, because they're amazing. I'm more of a lurker, but they are amazing. So
I
they'll
love
take
that.
care of you.
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen.